Okay, so I'll talk about the three attributes of nature, and I think one question that comes up is why three, the number three itself, and I think I found an answer which I found very good, so I'll just share that. I The first was if it was only one, right? That's the choice. What would happen? There would be no diversity. Everything would be the same, and I think there would be no sort of fun in it in some ways. If it was two, then the two would be constantly opposing each other, right? If it's two, it's always this or that, and there will be like a struggle. And then if it's three, there is a certain kind of equilibrium or balance can come, and at the same time, diversity can happen. So you really don't need beyond that because three then suffices, and so you don't. So this is the minimal quantity where you have equilibrium and balance. That's how the number three came. Now, when we talk of these three attributes of nature, I think it's important. Sorry, the animation is not working. So it's important to know these three things about the three attributes before we get into those attributes. The first is that they are inseparable. So these three are very closely intertwined. So you can't isolate one from the other, which is what we try and do when we dissect, right? So that they are inseparable, they're indistinguishable. Number two, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in the screen that you see, it's in the body that you have, it's in the environment that's around. It's everywhere. It's in every element of existence as we see it today, the manifested existence. And third, that it's non-intelligent. So these three attributes don't have a will of their own. They don't have consciousness. They are not deciding how they will be, what they will be. They are just there. They will work with certain laws or manifest themselves in the way they are meant to be. They will say swas, they will say true to their nature, but they are not operating. They are not moving on their own way. Right? So that's about the three. Now, when the three come together, what happens? They are mutually dominating, supporting, productive, and cooperative. So what does that mean? That they will be either or will be dominating. They all three won't try and dominate. So there is a certain understanding, you can say, between them, that if one is taking charge, the other will support, right? And their goal is to produce. So they will be producing in a cooperative manner. So there is no competition. They are not fighting per se. They have a very good understanding in them. That's the three mutualness that is there. And last but not the least, the fact that they function for a single purpose. That they are moving towards one purpose to manifest, let's say, the will for 1 second, their purposes. And this is very beautifully given with an example of a lamp, right? If you look at a lamp or diya, it has the diya, the oil, the wick, and the flame that's there. And we saw the example of the bulb, which is pretty much similar. There is a wire, there is the bulb, there is a tungsten, there is electricity, and then there is again light. So it's about producing that. Light is an example, and we'll see it through this example. So let's try and understand the three attributes. So the first aspect is what is their essence. So essence of the three attributes is, the first one is attraction. It attracts. The second is a little bit rejection. So there they are slightly opposed. It's like pleasure and pain. That's the duality there, right? And the third one is about indifference. There is no reaction to that. So if we take the example of a lamp, the flame, if you look at the flame or the light, that attracts us. We like light, right? By default. If we look at the process of burning, and as soon as we see a focus on the process of burning, you will see a rejection, a repulsion that will come, just that pain, right? The pleasure in the light goes away if you start understanding what's happening to the wick, what's happening to the oil that is burning. There is pain there. And when you look at the body of the diya, there is largely indifference. It's okay. It's there. So that's their essence, the essence of these three attributes. The purpose, what do they do? What are they for? So the attribute which is for attraction illuminates. Its purpose is to illuminate. That's the flame. The attribute that gives pain or rejection, its purpose is to activate. It's the oil that is really activating and enabling the flame to happen. And the last one, its purpose is to restrain. That's the wick. It's holding the oil. So you should see this process. If you try and light up oil, it won't burn. You need the wick to restrain the oil. And if you try and burn the wick, it will just burn out. But if you drench it in oil, it stays. Correct? So the purpose of the wick, the purpose of the container is to restrain. And without that, the flame won't be there. The lamp won't be there without either of these three. So we need all three to make even this simple process happen. And if we start looking at any of the processes, we will see that these three attributes play a very important role there. The third dimension, just to build on it, what are their key attributes? So just to go a little bit understand more, one is hence buoyant and illuminating. It's light. The word uses lahu, it's light, and it's illuminating in general. To activate, its attributes are it's exciting and it's mobile. So if you see again, the liquid, the oil is mobile, it's flow. That's what causes it to activate. The flame is just there. It's like air. So that's why in this example, we have air, liquid, and solid, the three states of matter as well. And the last one, it's heavy and it's enveloping. So it will cover what is there in the inside. It has that's how it restrains. So that's the attribute of the third aspect. Now what happens, why is this relevant? So as I said, they are mutually dominating, right? So one dominates at a time, but they work towards the same purpose. They can work towards the same purpose. We need, as we saw, all three always to make anything happen, as simple a task as lighting a lamp. So what happens when they dominate, right? That's the fourth question. So when the first property dominates, what happens? There is happiness and knowledge for us. So what happens to us? And here I want to focus it on us in our own experience. So when the first property dominates, we experience happiness, knowledge, right? There is lightness, there is illumination, enlightenment. That's where this is leading us to. What happens when activity dominates? There is a lot of action, and that action is typically towards material results. There is a lot of action there. When just excitement and activation dominates. And when heaviness, restraint dominates, what happens? There is general lethargy, laziness, sleep, demotivation, tiredness. So it will just restrain. There is a lot of restraint that comes there. Right? So in this, the important thing to note is, going back to the original point, they are non-intelligent. Right? The will is not theirs. They are not the one driving. They move in their own way, but their forces are strong. They move in their own way. What dominates is a choice that we make. And we'll come to that in the next one a little more. But we have to be aware what will happen when one is dominating. At the same time, this can help us diagnose what is really happening right now. So yeah, so these are the three attributes. The common, you can say in some ways, the forces that are there, what move by on their own, they have I think they have their own chemistry to enable, and that's what enables everything that we see around us in the world. And to make it easy, the words that have been used to describe these are these three, which is sattva, rajas, and tamas. That's why these are the three gunas, often known as sattva guna, raja guna, tamo guna. These primary come from the Sankhya philosophy, and they're talked quite a bit in the Bhagavad Gita as well. So there is adoption across the 6 schools for this concept and this core essence of nature, of Prakriti, that is there, the forces that are there. Okay. Yeah.
You gave an example of a lamp. Is there a more natural example available to understand? Perhaps I'm trying to get to like, why is it this way? But instead of trying to get there, I think it's more examples where these three coexist and more naturally manifest.
Yeah, this exists everywhere. So you can see any example, anything. So you can see your own processes, your own structure. You can see a tree, anything. It will have anything that has activity, a certain kind of, you can say, attraction or illumination, right? So even when we see nature, for example, you will see these three playing out. And that's actually a very good reflection for each one of you to do, to see how something, let's choose something where there is, you can say, attraction, possible attraction, rejection, or indifference. Or you see these three things happening and it will be there. Some people will react to nature in that way, right? Some people will react to nature indifferently. Some will have, so if there is something which is not attractive, if there is something on the tree, there will be a certain rejection that might come.
It's making me think of electron, proton, and neutron.
Ah, yes. Yes, that's one language, yes.
Hmm.
So what you what I'm picking up is, if I see myself going into the Rajas Guna, the Tamas Guna, I have, with my conscious awareness, rather, with my awareness, I can always bring it back to this, the Sattva Guna. Is that what you're saying?
So with your conscious awareness, you can get there. As I said, the three don't have awareness. The three follow their rules. But you are the one that provide that impetus. So yes, you can. And we all strive towards happiness and knowledge. We all want something that's pleasant. So we want to get to the Sattva Guna.
And yoga is a means of getting there, is one of the means of getting there.
Yeah, that's the entire process, yes.
Okay, Sandeep, just for my clarification. So the Sattva is who we truly are and what we want to achieve.
No, we will come to that. So let me, I'll integrate all this. Right now, just stay with that. So don't mix it with it. Just, these are three forces. That's why there is no will. So go with the first part. They are non-intelligent.
Okay.
So that's not who we are. To answer that, that's not, they are non-intelligent. So the Swa is not this.